Hey guys, welcome to the HD channel, and in this video I'll be checking out the Poco X3 NFC. Okay guys, so Xiaomi at it again, and they're coming at us with the Poco X3 NFC, and as the name suggests, it has NFC support. It's also got a great 64 megapixel camera. It's got a super smooth 120Hz screen, and it's got a massive 5160 mAh battery as well. And price only start from £199 with expandable memory as well. So the spec list looks great, the price looks on point, and to be honest, I think Xiaomi are just killing at the moment with the mid-range phones. And today, I'm not actually being disappointed by any of their mid-range offerings at the moment. And X3, on paper, it looks great. So the X3 NFC, is it any good? Let's check it out.
So this is the box that the Poco X3 NFC comes in, and it's a black matte box with yellow detail. On the side there it says with easy access to the Google apps that you use most, so you can access the Google Play Store right out of the box. Pin eject tool, paperwork and jelly case. Then you got your phone, you got your power brick, and also you got your USB-C cable with some red detail. Okay guys, so this is the Poco X3 NFC, and this is the shadow grey. It also comes in the cobalt blue as well, and it has a 6GB of RAM, and you got two options. It comes with a 64GB of storage and also 128GB of storage as well. The memory is expandable as well, so upgrading your storage at a later date is not a problem. It comes with Android 10 right out of the box, running MIUI 12, and it has Poco Launcher 2 on it. It runs on a Snapdragon 732G, and the G stands for gaming, because this chip is actually optimized for gaming, and because of that, everything runs really smoothly on this phone. And even high intensity games of Call of Duty, even if I set the frame rate and the graphics to very high, the game still runs really smoothly and with no hiccups at all. So on the front you got Gorilla Glass 5, and the screen is 6.67 inch dot display that runs at 120Hz, and that gives you really smooth scrolling and browsing. And it's really nice to see a mid-range phone with 120Hz refresh rate, because you don't even get that on some flagship phones. So it's really nice to see that this has been included on a mid-range phone. The screen isn't AMOLED, it's only LCD, but it is a great looking screen with a 395 ppi. It does come with a pre-applied screen protector right out of the box. It also has a 20 megapixel selfie camera on it as well, that runs at 1080p at 30 frames per second. The Poco X3 NFC is NFC compatible. It also has a massive 5160 mAh battery as well, and you can also charge that with the supply charger as well, so that you can charge the battery at 33 watts with a fast charger. The back of the phone is plastic. It does actually feel really premium, and it actually does feel and look like glass. I'm not a big fan of the big Poco branding on the back of the phone, because I do like my phones a bit more minimalistic, but to be honest, after using it for a while, it's not something that I really notice. On the back of the phone you got a quad camera array, so you've got your 64 megapixel main shooter, your 13 megapixel ultra wide, you got your 2 megapixel macro, and you got a 2 megapixel depth sensor, and you've also got your LED flash as well. On the bottom of the phone you got your single firing speaker, your headphone jack and USB-C port, and on the side of the phone you've got your power button stroke fingerprint scanner, and also your volume rocker as well. On top of the phone you've got your noise cancelling microphone, you've got your IR blaster, which is one of the best things about these Xiaomi phones, and also you also got a secondary speaker there as well. So this phone has stereo speakers. On the left of the phone you got your SIM tray, and that takes your single SIM card and also your memory card. This is what the supply case looks like on, and you can see there's a round cutout there on the camera module. The camera module itself is actually like a rounded oblong, and it does leave a little gap on the top and bottom of the camera that does gather some dust there. And your buttons are all covered with a cutout for the power button stroke fingerprint scanner. There's a port cover there for USB-C port, and all your other bits are cut out. And as you can see, there's a bit of a lip there as well on the case, so it does protect your screen when you're putting it screen face down on the table. So that's the Poco X3 NFC. I also took some pictures and video samples for you guys as well, so check them out. Okay guys, so this is the selfie camera on video mode, and it does shoot at 1080p. It's 20 megapixels as well. It doesn't shoot in 4K, but that's expected now on a selfie cam. And it's not the sunniest of days today. It's quite a gloomy day, so the colours are probably not as vibrant as they could be on a nice sunny day. But I think overall, it looks pretty good. So this is the video mode on the main shooter. It's 64 megapixels. I'm shooting at 1080p at 30 frames per second at the moment. It does actually go all the way up to 4K at 30 frames per second as well. And if you want, you can also drop to 720p at 30 frames per second as well if you want as well. But yeah, it looks pretty good. The camera, we've had great reviews on this Poco X3, and the expectations are pretty high on the Poco range, and I think it does the job. So this is the main shooter, shooting on the 64 megapixel camera, and again with most of these cameras as well, you can't switch between the wide lens and the main lens while you're shooting. So this is 1x at 64 megapixels, and if I can like zoom in, it does go all the way up to 6x, but obviously at 6x the quality does degrade considerably, but it's there if you want it anyway. But you can see it's quite grainy. But as we zoom back out again back to 1x, and then the quality shoots right up again. And yeah, I think I'm happy with this. I mean, to be honest, a lot of these mid-ranges now, the cameras quality are pretty good. And as you can see here, it shows. I mean, it's not the sunniest of days today, and still the camera quality still looks great. So I'll switch to the wide lens now, because you can't switch whilst mid-recording, so you've got a feel of what the wide lens look like as well. So this is the 13 megapixel wide lens camera, and in video mode on the Poco X3. And as you can see now that I switched to the wide lens, the frame is much more wider and you can fit more in your frame, and it's useful. I mean, it is a big drop from 64 megapixels down to 30 megapixels, but that's expected. Usually the wide lens, usually the quality is not as good as the main shooter, but it does the job. I mean, overall it still looks pretty good. And nowadays, to be honest, I don't think I can use a camera now without a wide lens on it, because I think it's so useful, especially like something like this now. You can see there's such a big difference from this on the main shooter. And again, but it's only 30 megapixels, so if you zoom in, you can zoom in right up there to 2x on the 30 megapixel wide lens, and as you can see, the camera, again, it degrades quite a lot, and again you can see there's quite a lot of grain there as well. But again, that's as expected with most of these on these digital zooms. But if I zoom back out again, back to 1x, and then again we're back to the normal resolution. And overall, I'm happy with the wide lens. I mean, like I said, I love using the wide lens on all cameras. It's so useful, and it's always also great. It's there if you need it, and if you don't want to use it, then it's fine. But it's there if you need it.
Okay guys, so that's the Poco X3 NFC, and it's a great phone. I mean, you're getting a lot of phone for your money. I mean, the price only starts from £199, and for the amount of phone that you get, it's a tremendous great value. I mean, £199, it has an expandable memory, so no matter which version you buy, it doesn't matter because the memory is expandable. It has a 64 megapixel camera in it. It's got a 120Hz screen. It's got a massive 5160 mAh battery. I mean, it lasts me over a day, almost 2 days. It's got stereo speakers on it. I mean, most flagship phones don't even have stereo speakers on it. So it has a great sounding speakers on here. It's got an IR blaster. I mean, that's one of the main things that I like about Xiaomi phones is they have IR blasters. And for me, I think it's something that's really practical that somebody would use every day. And just wish more manufacturers actually put that on the phones as well, because it's actually something that I do personally use all the time. Obviously I would have liked AMOLED screen on here with always on display. I would have liked wireless charging in here, but that's super nitpicking. I'm not a big fan of the big branding on the back there, but I guess that's not a big issue. I mean, most of the time you're holding your phone anyway, and it's not something that you actually notice because it's the back of your phone, and you got case covering it anyway. And if it does really bother you that much, you can actually buy another case and to cover it. But like personally, from looking at it normally, I mean, it does look a bit cheesy, but from everyday use, it's not something that actually I noticed. And also talking about cases as well, the supply case as well. For some reason, the camera cutout is actually round, and the camera module here is actually like a rounded oblong. It's rounded oblong there, and because of that, you do get a lot of lint and dust that collects on the top and bottom of the space between the camera cutout and also the camera module as well. So that's a little bit annoying. But other than that, it's a great phone, and that's just been nitpicking. I mean, I would have liked the volume rocker to be on one side of the phone and the power button on the other side, but it's not something that I can complain about, especially at that price range. The performance of the phone is so good. That's just been major nitpicking. So overall, I do really recommend this phone, and if you're after a mid-ranger, I think it's a great purchase. So if you guys find this video useful, guys, click on the like button for me. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, guys, click on the subscribe button for me. And as always, guys, ciao for now.